Everybody get up, it's time to slam now. We got the real jam going down. Welcome to the Space Jam.
Okay, so I realized that the very beginning of this video got corrupted. So I'm redoing just this little part. But I realized that I had talked to you guys on the road to some of the state tournament games, but I haven't talked to you since the state game, which we lost, sadly. And that's kind of what I was going to talk to you about. So yeah. Sorry, my mom came in and just woke up and brought me some fizzy tea, which, if you guys are interested in anything healthcare related or like Arbonne, if you've heard of it, I do sell it. I'm not like crazy, like every second hounding it. There are like some products that I like live by, but other than that, like if you're interested. But anyways, I was saying that I like showed up to the game early, and they have this weird thing. So it's like the court obviously is like the court, and then there are like 3 rows or 4 rows of seats on like both sides, and then the stadium is like there's like a wall, and the state like the bleachers or whatever are up, so you have to go like upstairs. But like the student sections are always downstairs on those bleachers, and then there's like seats basically for like the parents of the players or the people who are really into it, who like get there early. And it was weird. It's actually pretty smart how they do it, but like you walk in, and so like you basically either walk to like one side or the other. It's funny. So if you know anything about Oklahoma and like highways, driving out to Wellston, there's like leaving Oklahoma City on Kilpatrick Turnpike that turns to Turner Turnpike. So the highway like splits right as you get into like Oklahoma City, Edmond, like right as you're getting there. It's at mile marker like I think it's 136. And I drive that route to my lake house, so I like have it memorized. But it's really funny because I have a bunch of friends and like coaches and like adults that whenever we're talking about like when we're traveling or something and wondering like, oh, have you got like, are you into the city yet? Like, how far are you? There are times that you'll refer to that little like opening as like the vagina, because it's like there are these like bushes and trees at the front, and then or like at the back or something, and then there's some at the back. It's just ironic, and that like is how I remember it. But I was thinking about that because like the stadium is like that, and you walk around it kind of like the highway splits. But it's weird because like they filter it where if we wanted to walk in, we go in this way, and they want them to go all the way around to the other side. But it's like they have this those like blockades that like are just like at the bank is what I think of, like when you go through a line, it's like stretchy thing that they like come out. I don't know, you just climb under as a kid or like push on it. And so they had that out, and I was just like waiting, watching the end of the next game, and then the awards, and then they like pull it off, and then they filter you in as the other people have gone out. And it's kind of smart, so that way like you're not interfering with the other people watching the game while you're getting there early. But I got like front row seat. I was by myself, and this lady came in and sat by, and so like if you know anything about her, you know we have this amazing sophomore player, but it was like his cousin, and she was like, listen, I'm gonna sit by you, I'm loud, I cuss, and I was like, I'm into it, it's okay. And it was really fun because sometimes I can be pretty shy when I go watch. Like I watch the game and I like talk in my head, but this game I literally would like stand up and like be screaming, and that's like, I mean, that's how I am in my head, but like I haven't been that way like besides in like the student section, which is like really funny. But right off the bat of the game, we were missing like every shot. It was like it would literally like brick or like go in and out, and it was like like we were just missing everything. And straight off the bat, the refs were calling like every like millitouch or not even touching them a foul on us. It was like 6 fouls to like 0 fouls. And so the game just started off terribly. It was like, honestly, I think it was like 14-2 at the end of like the first quarter or something, or in this, it was bad. And on top of that, Kingfisher was making everything. So it was like we were just having terrible luck, and they were having like the best. We were playing like our worst game. They were playing their best game. And honestly, like skill wise, we can win. It was just a bad day, but it was funny because we all sat down and the lady and I were talking at the end of the game. I was like, "Oh my gosh, it's so nice to meet you," blah blah blah, and she was like, "What's your name again?" And like we're pals now, but anyways, so what was it? Oh yeah, so at the beginning they like in the back behind us was like some of the coaches' wives, and I like overheard them saying like, "What players like?" I guess someone on Kingfisher's dad is like in charge of all of OSSAA, which is like the whole like division, and so like it ended up being like this senior who like didn't leave the court, but it was just funny because we're always the ones that people are like they pay off the refs and stuff, but like genuinely, even Kingfisher, like you have to have talent to be able to like go that far anyways. But anyways, back to the tweet, we ended up losing the game pretty bad, and it was honestly really sad to see the like some of the main players go off and like be really emotional, and especially the seniors. And but it was really cool at the end that they like all really just like embraced and hugged, and it was like really cool to see that. There's this group of seniors that have been close. They went to my younger school, and it was really cool just because they were all like, I don't know, you know that they really are real friends. They're not just like, yeah, I don't really know how to describe it, but it was really tough to like see how they were responding to it, and it's hard to like, how do you like encourage your friends that are on the team, like, because like they are really good athletes, really good players, and like they just had a bad game, and you can't get in your head about it. But so I didn't end up talking to any of them after, but I did like message a couple of my friends, and say like, hey, like, and a lot of them play multiple sports. So I was like, hey, like, you've gotten to play 4 years of your favorite sports. You got to score. One of my friends got to score the very last point of the game, and I was like, you scored the very last point of the game of the whole season of your whole 4 years. Like, you're a badass. You're gonna go do amazing things. Like, and he was like, thank you so much. It actually means a lot. So that was cool to be able to say that. But back to the tweet, I read after that they ended up tweeting, and they were like, I'm just gonna pull it up. Sorry, my flashlight's been on. Oh wait, I deleted Twitter. Okay, well, their tweet was like, after paying off the refs, recruiting every single player, blah 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 blah, Heritage Hall still lost by like 20. And it's like, honestly, the refs weren't even on our side in that game. And what's funny is that like a lot of the best players in sports at Heritage Hall aren't like, they have either been there a long time. Like in my grade, there was a kid that was a lifer there, and it was our quarterback. And like one of the best basketball players this year, his brother went to Heritage Hall before. He like went to a filter school that I went to. And so it's just like, or like even our best player like came from Cassidy, and that's not like recruiting. Like they just aren't, they're in a different like skill set of basketball and stuff. So it's just, I get when they think we recruit, or I'm not saying we don't or we do, because I don't know, but there's just like, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense if you think about it, because like a lot of our best players like come when they're pretty young, but we just have, I guess, like, I do think that we have a lot of like financial and like political stuff that like affects sports that I didn't love, but I do think our coaching staff and like everything and most sports, especially like men's basketball team, the like baseball team, football team, I do think that they like really, really train them really well. And our tennis is always really good, and our golf. And so I do think I don't know much about the others. I wouldn't and our soccer team, I'm not a fan. If you know, I like ended up, the coaching has fluctuated a little bit for like volleyball, but like most of the coaching staffs are like, they know what they're doing. Even though they may be influenced or whatever, they do like train you well. And so I will like give that credit. And I tweeted this thing the other day that honestly, I like, even being when I was at Pepperdine, like I did not want to like go watch stuff because like the atmosphere was not like Heritage Hall. And I don't know if it's the fact that like I know the players, I know the people in the stands, like you're rooting for your family, you're rooting for your friends you grew up with, whatever. Like I don't know what it is, but it's like you almost have like a claim to the people out there. It's not like you're going to like an NBA game where you know of the people, they don't know you, or like things like that. I don't know. But like I even like if I don't have friends like out there, I'm definitely gonna keep wanting to come to the games because there's just like that's so like I love to just like be in the atmosphere and watch the games. Like I'd much rather go watch a sporting event than watch like just me personally. I've never been to like drama or theater or anything, and I've our performing arts are actually like really 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 good. But I'd much rather personally be at like sporting events. Like I've been, I think I went to like 5 in the past like week and a half or something. Like, and it's just something I really miss being a part of, and like the atmosphere of like walking over from school or driving over from school and then being there to practice around all different athletes of all different sports. And like I love that the coaching staff still knows me, they like me, and they've talked to me. It was cool because one of my favorite coaches is the goalie coach for the boys soccer team. Before I talk a little bit about him, um, honestly, what one of the biggest things that I miss the most, which I love the fact that like I can still go in there and see them and stuff, even if I'm like injured, is the training staff. I like Joe is the best trainer I've ever met, and he is so hilarious, and it's like such dry humor. He would always say like I'd be like, "Did you miss me?" He's like you missed a toothache, and he just says stuff like that all the time. But so I am very like into arts also, and so that one of the art teachers, Miss Leonard, is married to one of the trainers, Larry, and he's this like old guy with this mustache. I forgot. I'm not saying names, but I like every time I see him, we like he gives me a huge hug, and I like ran up to him at the state game and gave him a hug. He's like another grandpa, and then they have like so we do this thing with like it's like a training program where students who are in who are like studying come and like work as a assistant trainer for like a year or semester. And one of the girl who was there last year has actually stayed there this year, and so it's cool to like come back and see her. But to talk about the soccer coach, like I'm not a goalie, I suck at soccer. Like I was on the girls team, so like obviously he wasn't my coach, but his name, or I'm not saying names, but he's like hilarious and he's so nice. And I yelled at him from when I went to watch a soccer game like last week, and I yelled at him. I yelled at him from the bleachers, and I was waving at him, but I had like my parka on, so he couldn't really tell who I was. But I like ran up after, and he was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" and like hugged me or whatever. But it was really cool because because I ended up telling him like I'm not in school right now, taking like leave or whatever, which I'm actually starting courses, but I still don't consider myself like in college, even though I kind of am. But he was like, "Hey, so does that mean like if I need an extra player for my like rec league, you would want to come join?" And I was like, part of me was terrified because I'm not like good. I'm like embarrassed because if I were to go out there, I'd be like the one that shoots in the wrong goal, which I'm not that bad. Like I understand the game really well, but I just do not have like the coordination as much. But I was like, ooh, I was like, yeah, but I'm not very good. And he was like, you're good or whatever. But obviously, like I'm not like good like an actual soccer, like a someone who's grown up playing soccer. Which I do wish that my sport had been soccer, like club soccer. And I don't know if it's that I enjoy soccer because I never like was in it. Like I was in competitive volleyball, so like it didn't matter. Like it wasn't as important in my head and the political stuff about it and like the competitive like thinking about college and stuff. Which when I first came to Heritage Hall, one of the reasons that I was for sure pretty like sure with Heritage Hall is my family, like my mom and uncle went there, but it was that like they do have a really good like program, and someone I'd known played club went there and everything, and I was still like wanting to go for college ball, but it wasn't until like earlier in my freshman year that I decided not to play in college, and I quit club, which was honestly really good for me because that's when I got like my job, and when I started doing volunteer work and like mission trips and stuff, which was great. But I don't know, it's something about, and I think that like you can relate to this if you're a person who has grown up. Like, I don't remember the last time I wasn't on a sports team, like playing sports. Like even before I played competitive sports, I was on a soccer team. I do not remember the last time I wasn't on a sports team. I was in T-ball when I was little, like, and it's just so weird now to like, it's just like completely cut off to being competitive athlete playing in multiple sports. When I was playing club, I was in club and soccer at once, and then I ended up quitting club. But like, to be in that regimen of going every day and playing games like twice a week or tournaments that last like the whole weekend, it's so weird to just like cut it and be done now. And I don't know if it's just my metabolism or also the fact that like being an athlete, like you are working out, like in your sport, and the thing you enjoy is working out. I never had to work out. And even now, like I'm still like, I wouldn't say I'm like out of shape, but I'm not in shape. I'm not like overweight or underweight or anything. I may be underweight, but I'm out of shape in like my like just conditioning and stamina and like that kind of stuff. And so I'm starting to get back into my running that I was doing, and into which is good because it is warming up a little bit here, and going into yoga, and hopefully I've never like gone to a gym and like worked out. Like, it's so weird to me. I mean, I have like in pre-seasons, but I haven't like needed to. And normally when I run, it's like I just need to get this energy out, or I'm pissed off, or um, I'm training. Like when I was running in California, I was running 20 miles a week at like, I would run it in midnight on the like on around campus, which is like a circle, and then or the track around the soccer field, which is like bigger than an average track. But I would run like 20 miles a week, and I was training for a half marathon, which I didn't end up doing because I had moved back before, and it was in LA on my birthday. But it's just like I haven't, like, it's always been a reason. Like, there's always been a reason that I was doing it, and like I don't need, like, I guess my reason can be to like build up more muscle, because like I don't have muscle. But I don't know, I just really miss the like atmosphere of sports, and I definitely have noticed in myself there's a complete change mentally being active and stuff than there is like not. And your body releases certain I'm going to say some word, or I'm going to say the wrong word, so I just won't say it, but releases certain chemicals in your body and in your, I don't know if it's your hormones or in your brain, that actually counteract like depression and anxiety and things like that. And so like when you are active, but like when you are like being physically active, even going for a walk, it helps a lot to counteract that versus like laying in bed, which is what I do a lot now. As you can tell, since I'm videoing in my bed, well, actually in my mom's bed. But so that's kind of like, I just like miss the whole sports thing. And I am athletic where I was like someone that could catch on to whatever sport I was playing, but I'm not necessarily like the best soccer player, the best basketball player, the best, like I'm not like an outstanding, like she's gonna be like an all-star or whatever. Like I'm not that level. I just like can catch on. And I think also like having the heart for the game, so like really being passionate about like watching the sport also helps. One of my favorite things was Powder Puff. I would get the sticky gloves from Zane, and it's basically like you spit on them and then they like stick together and they're for like receivers. I used it for receiving, and I could receive. It was so my junior year powder puff. I was receiving all these long balls when we were practicing, and they were like super long balls. And I was like, when they would draw out the roots, I was like the X that would go like far. And then in the game, I freaking missed all of them. I was so mad. It would go out the like tips of my fingers. But I don't know. I just miss being a part of like that and being a part of like traveling as a team and stuff, which is so weird for me to say because I'm not a team like group person. But I don't think I could ever play a sport that was like a solo sport. Like, I guess golf has a team, but like it's also a solo, or like track, it's a team, but it's also solo. I don't know, because putting all the weight of like your success on yourself is a lot, and yeah. And like in team sports, what's so amazing about it is like someone can be doing really bad, but you can't put the entire game on one person. I mean, someone can claim it, but yeah, okay, that was a long ramble about sports, and I'll just cut it off now, but I definitely just like threw my hair in that clip. But yeah, so see you next time.
We're gonna take it